And so he has to decide how everything's going to go. And that's very important to allow him. He's earned that right to write his own story, his own ending.
Right. And so he will. I
thought it was good, but somebody can see it another way. So it's always two sides of the coin. So like I said, at the end of the day, how I represented this.
The question has haunted Lakers Nation for 2 years. Now we have the final answer. Lakers owner Jeanie Buss has made her definitive decision about LeBron James's future, and it will send a shockwave through the entire NBA. This isn't about hope or rumors. This is about a direct, final ruling from the throne of the Lakers kingdom. Will the king play in 2026? The verdict is in, and it changes everything.
Versatility. We wanted depth in our roster. We wanted to be able to play fast. And we wanted players that had a toughness about them. And as we completed our signings yesterday.
But you feel good about where you're at physically at this point, through this stretch?
Yeah, how I look.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
I look pretty good.
The decision was not made in public. It was forged in a private, high-stakes summit at the Lakers' El Segundo facility. In attendance, Jeanie Buss, General Manager Rob Pelinka, and a senior strategic advisor from the franchise's financial wing. The agenda was singular and monumental: Project LeBron 2026. For 2 hours, they reviewed not just highlight reels, but projections, medical reports on the long-term wear of a 23rd season, salary cap models showing the catastrophic second apron penalties of a $50+ million salary for a 41-year-old player, marketing analyses comparing LeBron's immense value against the cost of a stalled, aging roster unable to attract new stars. Pelinka, according to sources, presented the basketball argument for one more season: LeBron's leadership, his enduring production, the draw for another star. The financial advisor presented the chilling reality: committing to LeBron in 2026 meant mortgaging the entire 2027-2030 window for a single diminishing shot. It was a brutal cost-benefit analysis, and the costs were quantifiable, spanning years. Jeanie Buss, the steward of her family's legacy, listened intently. She then asked the defining question, one that moved beyond spreadsheets. What does it mean for the Lakers to be the franchise that allowed the greatest player of his generation to diminish on our watch, or to be the franchise that told him it was over? After a long silence, she made her ruling. It was not a negotiation. It was a final decision on the future of the most important athlete in Los Angeles. The owner has decided, but what was the verdict, and how will the king respond when his fate is delivered? The next move is the most delicate in franchise history. To see the stunning outcome, subscribe now.
Retire! After this season, call it quits. Seriously, LeBron, is this on? I'm dead serious. The writing could not be more on the wall, right? From everywhere you go. You don't want to go out. Your players have told you you're an afterthought. The fans, the Laker fans voted. Because guess what? Luka got 1.5 million more votes than he did.
How much time left do you think LeBron James has? I mean, he looks like it's endless. It looks like he can keep on going and going and going, like a Duracell battery, for crying out loud. I got to ask you, have you received any kind of indication where...
Jeanie Buss's decision was not a cold severance. It was a strategic, legacy-focused partnership offer designed to honor the past while forcibly pivoting to the future. She authorized Rob Pelinka to present the following framework to LeBron James and Rich Paul. The Lakers would offer LeBron a 1-year maximum salary contract for the 2025-26 season. However, it would come with explicit, non-negotiable conditions that redefined his role. First, the 2025-26 campaign would be publicly and privately acknowledged as his final season with the Lakers. It would be a collaborative, year-long celebration, a true farewell tour with jersey retirement and statue plans announced up front. In return, LeBron would provide the franchise with a definitive timeline for roster planning, allowing them to escape the purgatory of year-to-year speculation. Second, LeBron's primary in-season role, beyond his on-court production, would be to actively mentor and elevate Austin Reeves as the offensive initiator, and to help integrate the team's next major young star, to be acquired via trade. His cooperation in this transitional phase would be a condition of the celebratory send-off. He would be paid as a superstar, but his job description now included passing the torch. Third, and most critically, simultaneous to this offer, the Lakers would begin aggressively pursuing a blockbuster trade for a new, young cornerstone, 23 to 26 years old, to join Reeves, using every asset not named LeBron James. The message was clear: you will be celebrated gloriously for one last season, but the franchise's operational focus is now on the era that begins the day after you leave. It was the ultimate velvet glove, iron fist offer. LeBron could have his money and his victory lap, but only by accepting his role as a transitional figure, not the eternal center. Jeanie Buss had found a way to say goodbye on her terms, wrapping the difficult truth in the gold leaf of legacy. The offer is on the table. It's respectful, lucrative, but contains a hard, undeniable truth about the end. Now, the ball is in the court of the most powerful player in the world. How does LeBron James respond to being offered a farewell tour? Don't miss his shocking counter-proposal. Subscribe now.
Max Kellerman. This was not him as a guest on the Max Kellerman show. This was him and Rich Paul. And this is Rich Paul's show. And to me, the whole presentation, speaking candidly about the Lakers, speaking candidly about...
Do you feel good about where you're at physically at this point, in this, through this stretch?
Yeah, how I look.
Huh? Sorry, I'm trying to...
I look pretty good. I mean, when I just passed
The meeting between Rob Pelinka and Rich Paul was not a negotiation in the traditional sense. It was a clash of timelines. Paul listened to the Lakers' legacy season offer, the max money, the farewell tour, the succession plan. He thanked Pelinka for the presentation and then, without hesitation, dismantled its premise. Paul's counter, delivered on behalf of LeBron, reframed the entire conversation. LeBron would not accept a preordained farewell tour. To do so, in his view, would be to accept a diminished ceremonial role for an entire year, becoming a museum exhibit while still capable of being a central force. Instead, Paul presented a stark, binary choice rooted in LeBron's own terms. The first option was a 2-year maximum contract extension to be signed immediately. This would carry LeBron through the 2026-27 season. In return, he would commit to a playing time reduction, a hard cap of 30 minutes per game in the regular season, and would actively mentor the next star. The catch? The Lakers had to use the upcoming offseason to aggressively add win-now talent around him and Anthony Davis, pushing all their chips into the center of the table for 2 final all-in championship runs. No rebuilds, no youth movements, a final glorious siege at the walls of history. The second option was immediate, clean departure. If the Lakers were not prepared to make that 2-year, all-in financial and competitive commitment, then LeBron would decline his player option for the following season and become an unrestricted free agent immediately. There would be no legacy season. There would be a press release, a thank you, and a new home for the king. The farewell would be a headline, not a year. The calculus was brutal and brilliant. LeBron was forcing Jeanie Buss to choose between 2 futures, both of which he controlled. Either she fully invested in his final competitive years, accepting the long-term financial reckoning that would come in 2027, or she would lose him for nothing right now and face the PR catastrophe of the greatest star since Kobe walking away with no celebratory send-off. He was leveraging his own iconic status against her desire for a graceful transition. The ball wasn't just back in the Lakers' court, it had been spiked directly at the owner's feet. The ultimatum is delivered. Jeanie Buss now faces an impossible choice: double down on an aging legend and cripple the future, or let him walk now and face the fury of a fan base. Her final decision is next. To see which path she chooses, subscribe now.
Jeanie Buss is mad as hell, and she's not going to do a thing about it. That's the takeaway. She said it's business as usual going into next year. Heads are going to, no, they're not going to roll. She's business as usual. She said, damn the torpedoes, I'm just moving forward with everybody around me. And she also admitted, and I thought this was a confession on her part.
Who are some of the big names that we would all recognize?
Which sport you want? I mean, we just had Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith playing the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you got the Anthony Davises and Draymond Greens and obviously LeBron.
Do you know?
Jeanie Buss did not deliberate for long. The binary choice presented by LeBron James's camp forced a clarity that years of speculation had not. She convened one last meeting with only her most trusted confidants, longtime executive Linda Rambis and a senior financial strategist from the ownership group. The question was simple: which future could the Los Angeles Lakers survive? The analysis was bleak on both fronts. Committing $100+ million to LeBron through age 42, plus the punitive luxury tax bills for adding immediate, expensive talent, would plunge the franchise into a financial second apron hell. It would eliminate all roster flexibility, mandate the trading of every young asset and draft pick for veteran help, and guarantee a catastrophic multi-year rebuild starting in 2027. A rebuild without picks, without youth, and with an aging, cripplingly expensive Anthony Davis as the only cornerstone. It was a win-now-at-all-costs plan, where the cost was the entire decade to follow. Conversely, letting LeBron walk for nothing in free agency would be a public relations earthquake. Season ticket renewals would plummet. Local TV ratings would collapse. The franchise's valuation, intrinsically tied to superstar relevance, would take an immediate, significant hit. Basketball-wise, it would leave them with Anthony Davis and a middling roster, instantly making them a play-in team at best, with no clear path to a true franchise star to build around. For 24 hours, Buss weighed the two poisons. The financial strategist argued that the long-term damage of the 2-year gamble was quantifiable and would set the franchise back 5 to 7 years. Linda Rambis, channeling the emotional pulse of the Laker brand, argued that the visceral, immediate betrayal of letting LeBron walk without a proper goodbye could permanently damage the sacred relationship between the franchise and its fans. In the end, Jeanie Buss made a decision that reflected her unique position as both a devoted steward of her family's legacy and a pragmatic CEO. She chose neither of LeBron's options. She crafted a third path, one of such staggering, graceful finality that it would force everyone to accept the inevitable. She directed Rob Pelinka to return to Rich Paul with the Lakers' final, non-negotiable offer: a 1-year maximum salary contract for 2025-26 with a full no-trade clause and a mutual public agreement that it would be his final season in Los Angeles. However, there would be no mandated farewell tour theatrics. Instead, the season would be framed as one last run with the existing core, with the organization committing to making minor surgical upgrades around the edges, but no all-in future sacrificing moves. Simultaneously, the Lakers would announce the immediate commissioning of a LeBron James statue outside arena to be unveiled on the final home game of the regular season. It was an offer of immense financial respect, immortalization, and a competitive season, but one with a definitively closed door at its end. She was giving him a glorious, dignified exit on a timeline that protected the franchise's next decade. The message was elegant and unyielding. We will celebrate you like no player before. We will pay you as the superstar you are, but we will not follow you over the cliff. The future of the Lakers begins in 2026. The final offer is made. It's a statue, a max contract, and a definitive ending. Now, the king must decide. Does he accept this gold-plated sunset, or does he choose the chaos of free agency? His choice will define his legacy's final chapter. To hear LeBron's stunning answer, subscribe now.
Waking up as a 40-year-old NBA player than it did as a...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, because, yeah. I mean, I had a decade of the 30s. So, you know, to just wake up and just be like, oh, man, you're 40? It's kind of laughable, really, to know where I am, to see where I am still, playing the game at a high level, still being such a young man.
Oh, it was just a moment. It is what it is. It is what it was. And, I mean, to be completely honest, the two women, one is Jeanie Buss and Linda Rambis, two of the greatest people in sports.
Rich Paul received the Lakers' final offer. He took it to LeBron. The two men, who had navigated every career crossroads together for 2 decades, analyzed it not just as a contract, but as a historical document. It offered the one thing even LeBron James could not buy or control, a guaranteed, immutable place in the physical and spiritual heart of the Los Angeles Lakers franchise, cemented before he played another minute. After 48 hours of silence that felt like an eternity across the NBA, LeBron's decision was communicated. There was no dramatic press conference, no "the decision" style special. The agreement was relayed back to the Lakers, and both parties coordinated a simultaneous social media blast. From the Lakers, a graphic of LeBron in the iconic Lakers gold, with the years 2018 to 2026 beneath him. The caption, "One last run. The legacy continues. #LakeShow." From LeBron, a repost of the Lakers graphic with his own comment, "Unfinished business. Let's work. #the kid from Akron. #JamesGang." He had accepted. He chose the statue, the max contract, and the dignified, definitive ending over the uncertainty of free agency. In doing so, he secured something more valuable than one more year on a contender, the eternal, benevolent ownership of his Lakers chapter. He would leave not as a mercenary who passed through, but as an immortalized king, his bronze likeness forever guarding the arena. He traded ultimate competitive control for ultimate legacy security. The basketball world exhaled, then exploded into analysis. The 2025-26 season was now the most pre-announced, highly scrutinized farewell in sports history. But a subtle, powerful truth underpinned the celebration. By accepting the Lakers' terms, LeBron had, for the first time, publicly acknowledged the inevitable end of his own peak. He had accepted a partner in writing the final sentence of his story. The deal is done. The farewell season is set. But how does a team, a city, and a legend navigate a year-long goodbye where every game is a eulogy and every loss a tragedy? The final chapter explores the beautiful, painful, and surreal reality of the last dance, Lakers style. To witness the beginning of the end, subscribe now.
Throughout this year, your why?
Yeah. My why has been that you know, I'm still playing this game at a high level, and I still love the process. You know, the process of putting in the work, inspiring, you know, giving what I got to the game, because I'll have more years in my life without it than with.
Great leader always does the right thing. He's a family guy, first ballot Hall of Famer, and we're just going to enjoy him. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
That's right, Coach.
Bill Belichick.
I mean, might get Belichick. That's a new word we made up today.
The 2025-26 Los Angeles Lakers season was unlike any other in NBA history. It was not a chase for a championship. It was a living, breathing monument. Every game was an event. Every road city hosted a de facto farewell tour, with opposing fans offering standing ovations during introductions, a gesture of respect for a rival who had defined their basketball lives for 2 decades. The season was a marathon tribute, beautiful and emotionally exhausting. On the court, the team embodied the offer's spirit, competitive but not all in. LeBron played reduced minutes, often sitting out back-to-backs, his statistical production a brilliant, efficient echo of his prime. Anthony Davis shouldered more of the nightly burden, a preview of the post-LeBron era. Austin Reeves flourished with the ball in his hands more, the promised succession in motion. They were a playoff team, dangerous but not dominant, their ceiling willingly limited by the long-term calculus that had forged this season. The true spectacle was off the court. The narrative was masterfully controlled. Each month brought a new legacy highlight, a night honoring his I Promise school, a feature on his media empire, a joint interview with Jeanie Buss discussing his impact on the franchise. The statue's design was unveiled mid-season, a dynamic sculpture of LeBron in midair, one arm cocked back, forever aiming a pass into the future. It was a perfect metaphor. The season itself was that pass, a final, magnificent assist to the Lakers' legacy and his own. The final home game was not sad, it was cathartic. After a win, LeBron addressed the crowd. He didn't call it a farewell, he called it a transition. He thanked the city, the Buss family, his teammates. He pointed to the sculpture's shrouded form and said, "That's not just me, that's every kid from anywhere who dreams big. That stays here for you." He then handed the microphone to a beaming Austin Reeves, a symbolic passing of the torch that felt organic, not staged. When the Lakers' playoff run ended in the second round, there was no anger, only grateful applause. The mission, as defined by Jeanie Buss's final offer, had been accomplished. The king had been celebrated, paid, and immortalized. The franchise had survived the transition with its legacy burnished and its future intact. LeBron James played his final game for the Los Angeles Lakers on May 15, 2026. He left the court having secured the one thing his unparalleled career could not guarantee on its own: a forever home. Jeanie Buss's final decision was a masterclass in franchise stewardship under impossible pressure. Faced with the binary choice of crippling the future or alienating the present, she crafted a third way, a path of mutual, dignified destiny. She offered LeBron James immortality, and he accepted. The story answers the titular question definitively. Yes, LeBron James played for the Lakers in 2026, but more importantly, it reveals how he played, not as an unchecked monarch, but as a celebrated partner in a carefully orchestrated transition. Buss did not extend a basketball contract, she brokered a peace treaty between a legendary present and an uncertain future, with a statue as the signing bonus. In the end, the Lakers preserved their soul and their salary cap. LeBron secured his eternal place among the pantheon of Laker gods. The 2026 season was not about a ring. It was about closure, respect, and the graceful, premeditated end of an era. In the modern NBA, where exits are often acrimonious, Jeanie Buss and LeBron James authored a rare, triumphant final chapter, one where the king ascends to the throne room walls and the kingdom lived on to crown another. What's more valuable? One more desperate shot at a championship, or a guaranteed, immortalized legacy? Let us know in the comments. For more deep dives into the negotiations and decisions that shape NBA history, hit subscribe. We go inside the rooms where legends are made and concluded.